Seabreeze is finally opening again. They have been closed since September 2019. I'm right here next to Alex Culp. He's the operations manager for Seabreeze, and we're on the Music Express. So I say let's go ahead and ride, right?
All right.
I know fans are so excited to be back in the stadium here at Frontier Field. And no one's more excited, though, than general manager of the Red Wings, Dan Mason. He's so excited that he's already getting a head start making hot dogs for us. I'm on Seaview Avenue, which is right behind the house where police are entering the backyards for their investigation. I spoke to a neighbor who lives right over here. He says that he didn't see or hear anything, so he was shocked when police arrived yesterday evening. Rondequoit police say that 3 people were involved in this horrific crash. The SUV you see there behind me, we're told that a child and a woman were in that car. They have removed the tents that were here in the streets and on the sidewalks. I saw some people trying to gather their belongings. I spoke to Miranda Williams, the wife of Matthew, and she says she wants to see both men face the full extent of consequences. It's an active investigation here again as firefighters walk through the debris to investigate what exactly started this explosion. If you take a look now, there's the garage door of the house that exploded blown completely off and is across the street. They left some of their red paint here and it's still wet. Meanwhile, city workers are working right behind me covering up that graffiti. If you have to get out of the car, RG&E says that you should jump out of the car with both feet together, and then to get out of range, either hop away or continue to shuffle away. Here in front of the Crossway condos, there's still a power line that's down. A tree had fallen on it last night. Almost 2,500 parents have opted out of having their kids ride the bus this year. Because of COVID-19 concerns, they're dropping them off and picking them up themselves. In the computer room, kids are spread out every other computer, or they can just bring their Chromebooks and use the Wi-Fi. I'm sitting on the chairlift, and that's one of the things that will also be different with skiing in a pandemic. These baby calves grow up to help produce 16,000 gallons of milk a day, and students can meet all of the cows here on Mulligan Farm virtually. As the sun is coming up, more animals are starting to come out. Look at this beautiful lion. They're ready for breakfast this morning. My pick for the Kentucky Derby didn't win, but Sue here, I think she would do really well. She's going to be my horse for the next 3 weeks. David Lovett says when he saw the flames from across the street, he immediately jumped into action and ran inside barefoot to save the elderly couple that lived here.
I couldn't see her. All I could do was hear her. All I could do was just hear her. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? And I just reaching for her. And I finally got her, picked her up, brought her out.
Lovett says there was no time to find his shoes. When he got to the house, he pushed the door in and saw the husband was already on his way out. But he asked for Lovett's help.
He was on the porch, and he said, "Go get her, please." That's something anybody would do. Thanks. When my wife called 911, you guys responded so fast.
The Rochester Fire Department acknowledged what Lovett did to save them before firefighters arrived.
I'm not telling anybody to risk their lives. I mean, what this gentleman did was very brave and everything, but make sure everybody's out of the house, alert the people, and even if the fire's in your own house, smoke detector goes off, make sure everybody wakes up, and gets out.
Firefighters were able to stop the spread of the fire to the adjacent houses. Only minor damage to one and none to the other. The owner of the home with minor damage was displaced, though, along with the couple who lived in the house where the fire started. Lovett says the couple has lived here for about 40 years and that the woman is a cherished member of the community.
And she's truly a child of God. She's always been around.
And it wasn't until we were speaking to him that he realized just how heroic saving them was.
Now that I think about it, that was kind of brave.
Reporting in Rochester, Brianna Hamblin, Spectrum News.
You're ashamed of yourself. And then they use black people to do it. You're so stupid. Next time you'll be one of them people laying in the middle of the street choked out.
That's not their fault, baby. They're doing their job.
This is Jefferson Avenue. This is our street.
Around 8:30 in the morning, the Defacer Eraser arrived on Jefferson Avenue to get rid of the Black Lives Matter mural painted by protesters in front of the memorial for Daniel Prude. People like Renee Spells, who live in the neighborhood, were not happy.
Black Lives Matter on Jefferson Avenue, how is that a problem? And how could the city take it down? Not 3 days later, not a week later, not after all this is over, now.
City workers sprayed brown paint on the big yellow letters. It's what they do before covering it with black paint, like they did on the words "resign" in front of City Hall and "murderers" in front of the Public Safety Building.
It makes me want to cry. It hurts me to the core of my soul that something like that would be destroyed. Something so simple. It's so symbolic of wiping away all of the things that we try to stand for.
The workers couldn't talk to media, but they shared with Spells how they have to do their jobs, whatever the city tells them to do. And then they tell us they got a call from the city to stop in the middle of covering it.
I don't know what's the change of mind, but I'm glad
I don't know who made the call, but good.
I'm glad they're not taking it up because that's disrespectful.
City workers washed away the brown paint they had originally put down on the words "Black Lives Matter." Liliana Smith, Miracle Wilson, and Mumi Upshaw live right in front of the mural on Jefferson. They've watched the protests every night and watched them paint this last night.
They made this with love. Like, the community did this together. Since when do we see the community just working together? It's always violent when people come together, but when everybody come together on something good, it's bad.
The city workers now relieved that they no longer have to cover it, and the neighborhood happy to see Black Lives Matter will remain on the street. Anxious anglers arrived at Powder Mills Park long before the sun came up, trying to stake out the best spot to catch the biggest trout in the Reedman Foundation Trout Derby. People waited close to the creek for the clock to hit 7, officially kicking off the start of the derby and giving them the okay to cast their lines.
It's okay. No, it's okay, Heath.
And just like that,
Go ahead.
only a couple minutes in, and one man got lucky with a huge brown trout, putting him in the running
Pick him up like that. Good.
to win a $500 prize. But for some people, the best part of the derby isn't catching the biggest fish.
Spending time with family because we get to try and win a big fish and a prize, but even if we don't, I get to spend time with them and have a lot of fun. It makes it special because they're there to support me.
Alexa Mulcahy is here with her big sister Madison.
I am kind of looking forward to at least catching a fish. It'd be really exciting if I win something, but my main goal is really just to catch something.
And their grandpa, Thomas Axe, who's been taking them to the derby since before they can even remember.
It's a tradition, really. It's the 1st of April, the beginning of spring. I love being here with my granddaughters and grandson. Being, together as a family and enjoying a common sport and learning how to enjoy what nature provides us.
But this year, the derby means more for them as a family than it has in the past. Last year, COVID forced the event to be canceled, and a year of isolation followed.
The whole thing was bad. Last week was the first time I saw my granddaughters in a year. It allowed me since I got both vaccinations. So this is really special this year.
With COVID-safe fishing regulations in place, their tradition can continue, and families can create more memories together.
It's just fun, and there's so many new things you can actually see, accomplish, and hear from spending time together.
In Pittsford, Brianna Hamblin, Spectrum News.